SOE is being abolished or considered to be abolished, when we even know that Section 9 of the SOE Act was not as far as Maturata, was not as far as James Henare, was not as far as what Charlie Bennett wanted in the 1980s, but it was an elegant solution for that period to ensure the protections of the treaty. And I really want to take my hat off to that group of protesters who are labelled as mana movement supporters, but I actually think they're rangatira in their own right. Most of them don't believe in the parliamentary process, if I understand those that drive their forces, and I understand that. So I want to pay tribute to them too, because I don't want to talk about activism as if it's something of the past. Activism is really a movement, a focus, a tactic of the present. If you are willing to actually activate your minds, your hearts, your bodies, and your resources to facilitate change. Because I think as a nation, if anything I learned from the last election, is that 1 million people didn't vote. 1 million people don't participate in the system, either because it was a waste of time vote, or they're so disenfranchised and disengaged from the system, they can't see change as possible. So that's what activism is about for me. It's about actually challenging that apathy to activate. About actually, if you look at some of the prevalent whakatawaki of some of our leaders of the past, for instance, I'll use Tapuia. She used to say this, e oho au I ngā pūaitanga o aku moi moi a. I awaken to the blossoming of my dreams. I activate those dreams to become a reality. Now, unless we actually start to do something, philosophical consideration, I call you armchair revolutionaries or navel-gazing revolutionaries, actually don't make a difference. That's why it's really important at forums like this that we don't just pay a kind of a contribution by recognizing the past, but we also spend the time strategizing for change in the immediate and near future. Now, I don't think at any time that I've been involved in treaty politics have I seen the straight, cruel grab at power that has been taking place by Treasury and National Party architects as I've seen since they've come into power since November. And there are a number of things happening that are not disconnected. I want to start with one issue I know quite well down my area, and that's the oil drilling, the oil disaster at Rena and how it affected Motiti. The fact that while we've been focused on trying to clean up the moana into Moana o Toi, there has been Treasury officials and bureaucrats with district councils and regional councils actually selling off rights for the exploitation of oil, not to New Zealanders, but to foreign companies, TAG and Apache. So that they actually now are introducing in my area, on the one hand, we're cleaning up oil disasters. On the other hand, they're removing regulations and making it easier for oil corporations to come in with strategies of fracking, which haven't even been discussed in our communities. I don't know if many of you have travelled down to Whānau Apanui, Te Whakatō here, right through to Ngāti Porou lately, but those local communities are really clear that that kind of economic activity is a fundamental threat to their way of lives. Their daily lives of subsistence living, of going out and fishing for their kai, for fishing from their baskets. Those things are happening, and yet they're happening in a really kind of sinister way. That's why I think John Key is hugely sinister. We aren't having this on the news. We hear about it as fait accompli after decisions have been made behind closed doors between what I call faceless bureaucrats from Treasury and Regional Council and these rich fellas that come over as employees for these big companies. Now, we as people need to take back that power to ensure that those kind of decisions don't get